Hello everyone, I am Prabhat, co-founder at Invest My Fund. Welcome to a new episode, Know Your Fund Manager. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Deepak Ramaraju, Senior Fund Manager at Shriram Mutual Funds. Welcome Deepak to our podcast. Today we are here to discuss on very important topic called retirement. Deepak, let's start with a basic understanding of retirement and why retirement planning is very important for every individual.
Thanks Prabhat, thanks for having me on the show, and it's a very beautiful topic that you have raised, retirement. Retirement is as equally important as much as how we plan our own career, because during the career we all focus on earning money, and we also plan for keeping a kitty for our kith and kin, and as well as planning for building our own assets. More than that, we need to plan the assets for how do we retire and when do we retire, and when once we retire, what is the kind of cash flows that we are going to make. We need to have a peaceful life and a stable life when we retire. So that's the reason retirement planning will become a very important topic in our career. So,
well covered, Deepak. In your opinion, what is the best time to start for retirement planning?
See, ideally speaking, retirement has to be started as soon as the career is also started. So in the initial part of a career, we'll be earning a lesser amount of salary and we'll start building over a period of time. But it's always better we start allocating money for our retirement, also for the future planning as well. So that's early to start, early the better.
Deepak, what are the best investment option available for accumulating retirement corpus, and where investors should invest?
As a fund manager, I can't put that. It will be ideal for a financial planner to do this. So better to consult a financial planner, because it depends on the lifestyle, how many people who are there. So there are multiple factors that comes into picture. What is the family members, what is the kind of lifestyle that we live, what are our aspirations, and how much time do we have, and what is the salary. So as a fund manager, I can't put a number to it. So it's always better to consult a financial planner for that.
Deepak, in current market scenario where FDs are not able to beat inflation, people are shifting from fixed deposit to mutual fund. What kind of a mutual fund an investor should look for building retirement funds?
So in the initial stages of years, it's better to accumulate money and grow the wealth. So obviously inflation is a very important aspect, because during the course of the period, by the time we retire, initially we'll be affording items at a lower price. By the time we retire, the cost of inflation will be eating into the kind of the aspects of our own lifestyles. The cash flows will not be sufficient to meet the retirement corpus at that point of time if we don't allocate the right kind of money. So in the initial part of our career, we need to allocate more towards the equity, so that you have a better growth, and that corpus will also grow at a longer stage, and you have much more years for an individual to plan his own retirement corpus. So it's always better to start with equities. And inflation, definitely today, if we are affording a coffee at say 20 rupees or 30 rupees, it might be at 200 rupees by the time we retire. So we need to be able to afford for that, and that's in the same proportion our own corpus should also grow, or the capital should also grow at that point of time. So that's where the inflation is a very critical aspect for us. So.
Deepak, what are the best investment options available for starting retirement corpus? As we see, there are a lot of products available in market, like cryptocurrency, equity, mutual fund, etc.
So definitely inflation is a very important aspect. So that's where parking money in a fixed deposits. Today the fixed deposit rates are lower than the inflation. The inflation adjusted returns on an FD is much lower. So it won't be sufficient to meet your retirement corpus to plan for that if you put all your money in FD kind of a product. And obviously a financial planner would be ideally telling what should be the asset allocation that needs to be done for different assets. There are multiple other options like mutual funds, and obviously that's the trend. And if you look at the off late, the kind of trend that we are seeing, more and more money is coming into SIPs, and it's all because people are trying to plan for the retirement or build wealth in the longer term. So FD and eventually when the country economy matures and tries to grow into the bigger stage, so we see the FD rates coming down, the banking rates, the lending rates will start coming down. So that's what a matured economy is all about. So when that happens, So your inflation also come down, and the inflation expectations will also be lower, and as well as even your FD rates can also be lower. So the inflation adjusted returns from these products will be lower. Now that's the reason people will have to diversify their assets and move into more of equity oriented, or for that matter life insurance kind of products, or for that matter pension funds kind of a thing. Allocate the assets into different asset classes rather than putting everything in one basket. Then it's always better to diversify the assets, and more importantly, keeping a long-term vision and growth strategy is always better rather than looking at short-term gains and all the stuff. So FD may not be the right kind of a thing, but again a financial planner will be able to help you on those things. It again depends on person to person, their risk appetite, and many other factors goes into designing this asset allocation. Now talking specifically about Bitcoin, I don't think in India is as of now we have an option to invest in Bitcoin. Probably people outside India might be doing it, but within India we don't have a scope of investing in Bitcoin. And as an asset class, I can't much comment on Bitcoin because it's not a regulated assets within India.
Thank you, Deepak, for joining us and providing insightful session on retirement planning. This will help our investor as well as viewer to start their retirement journey. Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.